Hi, I'm Lindsay. I'm a family photographer. I do mini sessions on the spot, and today I'm interviewing my assistant, Dana, about her experience being my assistant. Do you want to say hi?
Hi, I'm Dana, Lindsay's assistant.
So, Dana, tell me about how you became my assistant.
Lindsay and I met through local friends probably 5 years ago.
Was it 5?
Yeah,
Holy moly.
you were pregnant with Nora.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it started out as fun, and then now she pays me.
It's not as fun anymore.
No, it's really fun. I've been coming to this market for quite a while. Before, I think the first time I came here, I don't think you had set up yet as a
Oh, yeah, when you were
photography booth?
coming just as, like,
Yeah.
for fun to visit.
Yeah. And so it's been nice to see the market progress and the different vendors that have come through. Never had seen this before. This is the first time I've seen a photographer at a market. So that's cool to be a part of that.
And yeah, so we were friends, and then you started coming last year as my assistant, but you just did it for free because you wanted to do it when my husband Alex couldn't help, so you would fill in. And then this year I asked you if you'd come to all of them. We had 6 this year, and I think you're coming to 5 out of 6. And I said, I'm going to pay you to be my assistant.
You did, to be fair, you did pay me in photo shoots before.
Oh, yeah, I did pay in photo shoots.
like
Yes.
pro
Okay.
bono.
But now I pay you in hard cash.
Yes, yeah.
So. Do you want to talk a little bit about what you do at the booth? Because people know a lot about what I do. I take photos, but you're pretty much running what happens here. So do you want to talk a little bit about, maybe start with what you say to people when they come up to the booth?
Yeah, so as Lindsay's talked about in the past, there's different kinds of people that come to the booth. Usually it's either people who are coming here with the intent to take photos, or it's just people that are here at the market. You can tell who's coming here intently based off of the outfits that they're wearing, the eye contact, the direct movement.
They
towards
come
the
like
booth.
just like beelining for the
beelining
booth
it.
in all matching outfits.
Yeah.
It's color coordinated.
But there's definitely been the photos that have taken place with people that didn't know they were going to come take photos here at the booth. And that is definitely interesting because they come up to the booth and you have to explain what you're here. People often think I'm Lindsay, and sometimes I pretend I am. But I explain, like, often if I'm here by myself and Lindsay's out in the field, it's good for people to see that she's actively working and what she's doing. Yeah, so sometimes people will come up to the booth without the intent of taking photos, and that's always fun too. Oftentimes, though, it's the props that get people coming here talking, and you can usually vibe how much people want to talk and how much people just want to look at the photos or look at the cameras. People often know more about the cameras than I do, so I just go with it, snowball with the conversation.
They know more about the cameras than I do too, which makes me feel silly.
But for the most part, it's just interacting and talking to people and vibing out who wants to talk about what, how much people want to talk about. Some people probably just want to be left alone, and you can usually sense that, but by putting out feelers, you can adapt to that as well. And then when people do have questions, if it's anything I can't answer, Lindsay's never usually more than 10 minutes away. Usually you are able to interject at a certain point, but there's not been many times where there's been questions that I can't answer. And yeah, I usually encourage people to fill out the ballot because I know that by filling out the ballot, it's a win-win. You get the information, they get to enter for a chance to win. And I do tell them, like, it's for the newsletter as well, so I'm not just surprised with emails in their inbox. And there's some little fun things here for the little kids too, like the bubbles. Kids will often just come up to the booth when they're running around the farmer's market, and obviously kids aren't here to buy a photo shoot, but you never know if they're going to take a branded item home and their parents are going to be like, what's this?
Good. Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did a couple of smart. It was definitely a smaller, like a slower market, but it's honestly no big deal. It's just fun to hang out here anyway. So.
And drink beer.
Yeah.
I haven't yet. But...
Love the cameras.
Thank you so much. Yeah, there's like some of them are like family. They belong to like my grandfather and my great grandfather, and then some of them are just thrift finds.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Are you selling them?
No, I just use them on my table because it makes people do exactly what you just did, which is come to the table and say, look at the camera, and then I can talk to them about what I'm doing. Yeah, I know. No, I think that's just the
Branding.
brand that they had on it.
In those days before
Yeah.
the rainbow flag came
Yeah.
into
But they
vogue.
still make them with the rainbow flag on them, so there you go. Have a good
There
day.
is somebody in there that's queer.
Yeah, I'm sure there is. Oh my gosh, literally talking about how the
Yeah.
cameras bring people in and we get interrupted
That'd be a
because we're
good
still at the
clip.
market. Yeah, I will definitely keep that in. Oh, so before the other guy came up, we were talking about how I'm like usually behind.
Yeah.
So I was about to say, so usually we don't have the walls up. We have the walls up today because it's really cold and it keeps us warmer. And we were also playing around with using this back wall as a backdrop. But usually you can actually see me doing the photo shoots back here. So you're like talking to customers here, and then I'm literally just like back there doing photos. So, what do you think is the main thing that gets people to actually book a photo shoot on the spot?
So it depends on those two avenues that we were talking about before. If someone's coming here with the intent to take a photo shoot, obviously that's self-explanatory. However, I think what intrigues people is just the fact that it's 10 minutes, it's $50 or $200, so
Yeah.
it's priced appropriately for a market. It's also fun. It's like you don't see this at every market. You don't see it at many markets actually. And it's beautiful here, which I know Lindsay's talked about in the past. It doesn't have to be beautiful for it to work. But having different options for people to explore though, and
Yeah.
seeing people do it in the limited areas that you have,
Yeah.
also brings people in.
Because we did one, you helped me with the one that we did at the August house where I was doing the photo shoots not even in the room because the room was just like a small room with vendor tables. There was no space to
Yeah.
do the photo shoot there, but you worked the table.
Yeah.
And I was just in another room
Yeah.
doing the photo shoots coming back and forth, which
Yeah.
worked as well. People can't see me specifically doing the photo
Yeah.
shoots in that instance, but it still worked
I
well.
think what helps too is the psychology behind it. And this is just from speaking from personal experience, but you're not being pressured to buy anything when you come to the table.
Yeah.
I don't know. For me personally, when I go around at farmers markets, I find it awkward if I make eye contact and I don't want to buy something.
Right.
But here, someone can come up and have a conversation and touch items and walk away without feeling the need that they feel bad for not buying something. That's just
True.
my personal
Yeah.
view on it.
And
Don't
then
know.
they email me later. They tell their friends.
Yeah.
Or I've had lots of inquiries and bookings of people just being like, "Oh, my friend met you at the market," or "I met you at the market," and booking that way. It's not even people who booked a mini session here,
Yeah.
which is ultimately what you want. It's not about building my business to be sustainable at markets forever. It's about building it so that I'm getting bookings outside
Yeah.
the market.
Yeah.
There's another. Should have written our questions down in advance. But do you think other photographers should do this?
Yeah, I think it's an exciting avenue for anybody. And I think the more exposure there is too, the more people are going to hear about it and want to do it and seek it out also.
That's true.
So if you have a reach out in BC or Ontario, someone's obviously probably not going to fly to Nova Scotia to take the photos, but having that exposure is just going to bring more people to more markets and see this happening.
Yeah.
Because it's so reasonably priced and not everyone can afford these super, I guess, expensive packages, it opens up the market to everybody and doesn't exclude someone from having nice family photos based off of not being able to afford it.
Yeah.
So I think that's a great opportunity for other people to explore also in their own local community and do what Lindsay talks about, which is talking to people, reaching out, marketing, getting your name out there for other opportunities also.
That's a great point because I have a lot of photographers who will message me and be like, "Oh, is this like a popular thing? Like, I don't want to do it if a bunch of other photographers are doing it." But realistically, there's not very many people doing it. So it's like showing it as an option. Like if I'm doing it and someone who doesn't live here sees it, they might look to their market to see if they're doing it. And the other thing is markets aren't going to hire multiple photographers. They're not going to have like tons of booths of photographers doing the same thing. So if you find a market that is open to it and you do it, then you're the photographer at that market. It's not, there's no competition there. There could be a market in a town over doing it, but that's not impacting you at your market. So
It's a new space, so it's scary to try something new, but because it's new, it gives you that foot in to where other people might not quite yet.
Yeah, and it's not like today was realistically a slower day. We booked less sessions than usual, but still we talked to so many people. I'd say more people were like really keen in the percentage of people we talked to versus taking information and like legitimate leads that are going to follow up was higher than usual. So even if it's a slow day, it's not a lost opportunity if you have set up everything in your strategies to be able to meet customers where they're at and with what their expectation is, whether it is booking a mini shoot or they had no idea you were even here and having something to offer them. Okay. There's a lot of people at our booth now, so thank you for joining me on this fake podcast.